He says,
I'm going to ask for the women first because I was going to ask it the other way around, but we had a lot of male-oriented questions, right? I'm going to ask this. For women listening or watching, right? And it's probably, I don't know if the women can answer better or the men can, but what's the difference between slutty and sensual in the way a woman behaves on a date? Where is that line? Because it's a thing women think about or worry about, are concerned about.
that whole idea of, what is it, breasts and legs? You can't do both.
I disagree.
Yeah, I guess it depends. I think some women like that look.
I'm not talking about the look. I'm talking about
Yeah.
just the whole package, behavior, what you do, what you say, how you dress. I'm not really talking about one thing.
Yeah.
Just-
I don't know if I really have an answer for that. I think it comes down to personal style, how you feel in the moment,
Well, let me ask
the
you a
chemistry
question.
you're feeling with the person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
Because that could drive that out of you, just like you said with the chemistry. So even if, let's say you're not even dressed like sexual or provocative, but how the chemistry you're feeling with someone
Yeah.
could drive touching, smiling more, looking more goo goo gaga kind of thing,
Yeah.
Girl, like kind of stuff that girls do. But if it's not there, you tend to feel, it turns dry, and that doesn't bring it out of you. But not just the chemistry and the look of what you are attracted to naturally drives that out of you, naturally. Because I know myself, like there's some situations like even with a guy, there's some guys that even though they look really good and it's just not there, not boom.
But arguably, sensuality should be something that just sort of exudes out of you, regardless of
Yeah.
whether you're with anybody.
Yeah.
And same with a man. It's what handsomeness. I don't know what the term actually is, but you can feel a man's presence. It just exudes out of him. So I think there are differences. I don't fully.
But Rob, can you always feel the difference? Because I feel like I can always feel the difference. If she's being sensual or she's being slut. It's not, slutty's never a word I'd use, right? It's not part of my vocab, generally speaking. But you know what I mean, like, because I can always feel the difference.
I don't know if we need
Right,
to go
doesn't he?
further into the question itself to define more of what we're talking about. Because sort of my thoughts when you were asking the question is like, how does someone portray that sort of sexiness or sexual attraction while walking that line of, yes, they're being sensual, or are they worried that they're going to be too slutty in their approach? So that's kind of how I was reading it. I don't know if that was completely wrong or not. But for me, I don't have much of an opinion.
I've got some thoughts on it.
Yep.
I've got some thoughts on it, and I want to see. I just want to see how that gets reflected, right? Because I'm not a woman.
I guess seeing some, like, I used to be very, very conservative. And the thing is, I think sluttiness and sensuality, the difference that I can say it from a woman's perspective is one is the behavior, right? For me, it's like sluttiness might be something that there's no intention. There's just like, I just want to be seen as sexy because I want to grab as many men, and the intention there is to maybe take advantage. While maybe sensuality is just my confidence and I'm just allowing my sensuality to just exude, and that's just me naturally. While maybe sluttiness is like, oh well, I'm gonna be this slut because it feels amazing. It's kind of hard to explain.
Like wanting validation.
Yeah, wanting validation, attention. Yeah.
Yeah, and so let me tell you how I feel, because I've thought a lot about this, right? And I can be wrong, obviously. Don't tell anyone. But this is how it feels to me. Because I can see a woman dressed in a miniskirt and a revealing top, backless top, right? And high heels. And she can be still either feel kind of slutty's the wrong word. I want a better word than that, but it's not part of my word. What's the right word? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll go with it, right? Or she can just look sexy, sensual, right? What's the difference? To me, what I feel a lot of it is the why. So when it feels like she needs something from me, validation, attention, when she needs those things and that's why she's doing it, that's when it changes. And when she's doing it because she feels like I'm just feeling sexy and I'm expressing it, it feels really different. As a guy, it feels totally different. And that's how I notice it in a lot of ways. I notice
What does
it in that
feel like from a man's perspective?
one feels needy and the other one feels.
So one is repellent?
I mean, if you want to hook up, it's a good sign, right? Because she needs the validation. So it can be a sign that she's an easy mark, so to speak, right? Because there's a self-esteem issue there, and whether you're aware of that consciously or not, it's there and it's playing out. And you can work on that, right? Yeah. But it's not. It doesn't feel high quality or high value. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how that comes across. Yeah. And it's not how quickly she sleeps with me. It's not how quickly those things don't like. They seem like cheap marker points for sluttiness or whatever you want to use, right? Yeah. It's always, as a guy, I've always been aware of the difference. If she's sleeping with me because she needs validation, or she's sleeping with me because she's just whatever. It's part of her. She's empowered and she that's what she wants. There's a very different feeling as a guy, and I think. The reason I brought it up is I think a lot of women watching feel like it's an action. Like I have to go to wait this many dates before I sleep with a guy, or he's going to think I'm easy, right? And as a man, and I guess I want to bounce this off you, Rob, to see if that reflects at all, because I can only talk for myself at the end of the day. But as a man, that's what it feels like to me. It's like it's whether she's doing it for herself or whether she's doing it for me or the validation. Yeah. And now think about the other women that you know, and women you felt empowered, and women that you felt. Yeah. Does that reflect well? Does that make sense? Because you will know what's happening in the women's minds better than I will, being women.
I think it's basically what we've talked about before, like it exudes from you. So that makes sense in terms of what you're feeling as well. Because one is an attractive quality, and I'm just talking in terms of polarity. Whereas, the other one is, well, you don't feel that. So,
God, I want a better term than sluttiness. I hate that.
It's
so derogatory.
I was gonna say,
it's so derogatory. And it's not
haven't
what I
used
mean.
the word and I wouldn't
You know what I
use the
mean?
word.
Like, there's got to be a better word. But
I don't know.
no, loose is even worse. We just went down and not. But Rob, how does that resonate with you when you hear me say that? Like, can you feel that difference between the two?
I'm conscious that maybe I don't have enough experience to be able to answer that in a way that I have enough statistical sort of knowledge of, okay, that's what that feels like when someone just wants validation or whatever. Because the women that I've been with, it's only been in a situation where we have had some sort of mutual connection. And if there's a high sexual energy, it's because we've kind of established that. So I haven't really had anyone, in a mini skirt just throw herself at me.
Sure. Highly recommend it.
What sort of energy was it?
Because I should also note on that same thing, I've been with two different types, or lots of different types of women, but two different types in this context, which is one which is she's wanted to wait longer to have sex for reasons that are her own personal stuff. Like she knows that she gets attached quickly and needs to just take care of her emotions, or there's lots of reasons to want to wait, right? Different reasons. When it's that feels as a guy totally fine. When I feel that she's doing it because she's trying to no, I have to do this because a man has to wait this long and he doesn't get this without putting in an effort. When I feel that, no, that feels all out of whack again. Yeah. And it's like one I respect and one I don't, even though both are making you wait. And I feel like it's all kind of keyed into that same vibe. And
it's the why.
It's the why. Yeah. It's that internal space. And I think I respond to that as a guy. So I assume other guys must as well, even if they're not as conscious of it, because I spend more time in my work thinking about this stuff.
I'm still trying to think of a better word for, I don't know if it even has a...
Maybe the difference between sexy
point.
and easy. Maybe that's another way to put it. Easy is a better word. It's less derogatory than... Okay, let me flip it then.
Because I was thinking you can still be overtly sexy and still have the sensuality side of things as opposed to...
Yes.
Yeah,
it's a hard one, isn't it?